what else did I buy? After a conversation on Twitter with the lovely Isabel Carr and Alexis Hall, I bought PC Hot Gels, The God Stalker Chronicles. That was a book that Isabel recommended, and so I thought, okay, if she says it's a nice book, I need to check it out, so I will do so. And because I did a reread of Mercedes Lackey's Magic's Price, I had a look at what kind of other books she had out recently, and I found that there are quite a few Valdemar anthologies that I hadn't read yet, and so I ordered them. Finding the Way, edited by Mercedes Lackey. Under the Veil, also edited by Mercedes Lackey. Changing the World, also edited by Mercedes Lackey. And I really love these covers by DAW. I really love them. Then I got Gladys Mitchell's The Mystery of the Butcher's Shop. Of a butcher's shop, not the butcher's shop. I really like the Mrs. Bradley mystery series, the TV series, and so I guess I need to read some of Mitchell's novels to catch up on the model for this TV series. Also, I've heard she wrote this as a parody of Agatha Christie, and so yes, I really needed to check this one out. Imagination Illustrated, the Jim Henson Journal. I like sketching, so every once in a while I will buy sketchbooks and things like that, and this looked really promising, so I bought it. And I also got Jim Henson's Tale of Sand. It's a graphic novel, basically. Not quite sure whether I like the style of illustration. Can you see it? But we'll see. It sounded like an interesting story. And then I have Doodling with Jim Henson. I also got Der Kartograf by Jiro Taniguchi. This is a Japanese manga. This is the German edition, and I already mentioned it in one of my weekend reads video. And as I said there, I really like the style of illustrations in this one, and there are a few colored pages too. And I also really like the story. It's set in Japan in the early 19th century. It's about the man who did the first map of Japan, and it's divided into smaller sections, the whole novel, and the pace of these stories is very contemplative, and I quite like it. It's very different. I also love the insights it gives us into Japanese culture in the early 19th century. It's set in what later became Tokyo, in Edo. And you know, when you are used to images of 19th century Western cities, you are quite surprised by Edo, because it's so very different, and yeah, so fascinating to get this glimpse into this very foreign culture, at least for me. I also got Earl and Fairy. This is another manga. It's been ages since I last read a manga, so I got these two by Ayuko. I thought it looked nice, and I really enjoyed mangas in the past, so this one went with me when I visited a bookstore. And then I got a number of novels by Dorothy Gilman. 25 years ago I discovered Dorothy Gilman when I was in holiday in Spain, and it was really, really hot, and I ran out of books to read very, very quickly after 4 days or so, which resulted in a big bit of a crisis. And back then there weren't a lot of German shops in Spain, in Benidorm, and the few shops that that you could find had only very, very limited number of books to buy. And one of the books they had was this one, Dorothy Gilman, the Mrs. Polyfax, an omnibus edition of the first 3 Mrs. Polyfax novels. And oh my gosh, I love these stories so much. I've reread them so many times in the past years, especially the first book, which I really, really love. And so I thought it would be time to read them in English, and I got the last bunch, which I hadn't yet bought in English. So, The Unexpected Mrs. Polyfax. Mrs. Polyfax and the Second Thief. The Amazing Mrs. Polyfax. Mrs. Polyfax, Innocent Tourist. And The Elusive Mrs. Polyfax. And that's it. Quite amazing. I didn't buy any more books. I hope you've enjoyed this haul, and I hope you will come again and join me again for my next video. Bye bye.